He's never seen a revolving door before.
It's amazing!
In an era defined by noise, speed, and an endless pursuit of more, happiness has become strangely complicated. We are surrounded by advice telling us to optimize our lives, scale our ambitions, and chase extraordinary success. Social media constantly reinforces the idea that fulfillment lies somewhere out there, in wealth, recognition, or a perfectly curated life. And yet, despite all of this, many people feel more disconnected, more anxious, and less satisfied than ever before. It is in this context that someone like Caleb Cooper stands out. Known to many through Clarkson's Farm, Caleb Cooper appears, at first glance, to be an unlikely role model. He is not a tech entrepreneur, a celebrity influencer, or a self-help guru. He is a farmer. He wakes up early, works long hours, deals with unpredictable conditions, and lives a life that most people today would consider physically demanding and perhaps even limiting. But look closer, and something far more meaningful begins to emerge. Caleb represents a kind of clarity that has become increasingly rare in modern life. He knows what he does, why he does it, and what matters to him. There is no constant questioning of identity, no endless comparison with others, no desire to chase trends or reinvent himself every few years. His life is rooted, literally and metaphorically, in something real. And that sense of rootedness is powerful. Today, many people are overwhelmed by choice. Career paths, lifestyles, expectations, and definitions of success have multiplied to the point where they often create confusion rather than freedom. We are told we can be anything, do anything, go anywhere. And yet, this endless possibility often leads to paralysis. Caleb's life offers a quiet counterpoint. Happiness does not necessarily come from having infinite options, but from committing deeply to a few meaningful ones. Another defining quality of Caleb Cooper is his authenticity. In a world where people carefully construct online identities and measure their worth through external validation, Caleb simply exists as he is. He speaks plainly, reacts honestly, and does not filter himself to fit expectations. There is no performance, no attempt to impress, no hidden agenda. And in that, there is freedom. When you're not constantly trying to be perceived a certain way, you free up an enormous amount of mental energy. You stop living for approval and start living for reality. Caleb embodies this in a way that feels almost radical today, not because it is extraordinary, but because it has become so uncommon. Then there is his relationship with work. Modern culture often frames work as something to escape from or as a means to an end, a stepping stone toward comfort, wealth, or eventual retirement. Caleb's approach is different. Farming is not glamorous, it is physically exhausting, financially uncertain, and often underappreciated. There are no viral moments in plowing a field, no applause for maintaining crops, no instant rewards. And yet, Caleb takes pride in it. He finds value in doing the job well, in understanding the land, in seeing tangible results from consistent effort. This speaks to something deeply human, the need for meaningful work. Not necessarily easy work, not necessarily highly paid work, but work that connects effort to outcome, action to purpose. In many modern jobs, that connection is often blurred. People work on abstract tasks, in complex systems, with delayed or unclear results. It becomes harder to see the impact of what you do. Caleb's life reminds us of the satisfaction that comes from tangible effort, where you can look at the end of the day and know exactly what you have contributed. There is also a quiet resilience in the way Caleb approaches life. Farming, by its nature, involves uncertainty. Weather changes, crops fail, markets fluctuate. There are factors completely outside of one's control. And yet, instead of resisting this unpredictability, Caleb accepts it as part of the process. He deals with problems directly, adapts, and moves forward. This mindset is profoundly important. Many people today struggle with the illusion of control. We plan extensively, optimize constantly, and expect predictable outcomes. When things go wrong, as they inevitably do, it creates frustration and anxiety. Caleb's approach offers a different perspective. Not everything can be controlled, but everything can be faced. His resilience is not loud or dramatic. It is not about grand comebacks or inspirational speeches. It is steady, consistent, and grounded. It is about showing up day after day, regardless of circumstances. And then there is his humor. Caleb does not romanticize life, but he doesn't dwell in negativity either. He finds moments of humor in everyday situations, even in challenges. This balance, acknowledging difficulty without being consumed by it, is a crucial component of happiness. It allows us directed toward real, immediate tasks. There is less room for overthinking, comparison, and unnecessary stress. Simplicity, in this sense, is not about having less. It is about needing less to feel fulfilled. Another important lesson Caleb offers is the idea of identity rooted in action rather than perception. Today, identity is often shaped by how we are seen by others. Titles, followers, achievements, and external recognition play a significant role in how people define themselves. Caleb, however, derives his identity from what he does, not how it is perceived. He is a farmer, not because it sounds impressive, but because it is what he does every day. This creates a sense of stability. When your identity is tied to your actions rather than external validation, it becomes less fragile. It is not dependent on trends, opinions, or circumstances. It is built on consistency. In many ways, Caleb Cooper represents a return to fundamentals. Be honest, work hard, take pride in what you do, focus on what matters, accept what you cannot control, find humor in the process, stay grounded. These are not new ideas. They are not revolutionary, but they are increasingly rare in a world that often prioritizes complexity over clarity. It is important to note that Caleb's life is not perfect, nor should it be idealized as such. Farming is difficult. It comes with its own set of challenges and limitations. The goal is not to replicate his life, but to understand the principles that make it fulfilling. You do not need to live on a farm to adopt his mindset. You can bring authenticity into your own life by being honest about who you are. You can find meaning in your work by focusing on doing it well, regardless of recognition. You can simplify your priorities by identifying what truly matters to you. You can build resilience by accepting uncertainty rather than fighting it. You can create happiness not by chasing extraordinary moments, but by appreciating everyday ones. In the end, Caleb Cooper may not fit the traditional mold of a role model, and that is precisely what makes him so valuable. Because perhaps the problem is not that we lack role models, but that we have been looking in the wrong places. We have been told to admire the loudest voices, the most visible successes, the most extraordinary lives. But happiness does not necessarily follow that path. More often, it is found in quiet consistency, in meaningful effort, and in a life that feels true to who you are. Caleb Cooper reminds us that you don't need to be extraordinary to live a fulfilling life. You just need to live it well.